Okay, I've been out shooting now for the past 6 hours or so, amongst the pesky dead critters here, surrounded by a lot of rotting corpses. I actually have respect for the dead. I just have a dark sense of humor. Anyway, I jokingly talk about getting your camera out of puss mode, and I obviously mean that seriously. As something funny, people remember something humorous. You need to dominate your camera. But in addition to shooting in manual and aperture priority and the shutter priority, I mean obviously there are countless times where there's an action or sports scene. There's nothing wrong with shooting in program mode. But the point that I'm getting to is you have two function buttons up here. Okay. Now I have this one, the bottom one, set to preview. I don't actually like dropping my thumb up here to the top and actually previewing the pictures that way. It's too time consuming, especially when time is vital, like doing sunset shots or sunrise shots, where immediately when I check a shot, my pinky finger is already there. You've got another button up here that you can actually program, depending on what camera you have. But program that for spot meter, okay? Now remember, spot, lock, and shoot, okay? Now, one of the things that is going to help you become a better photographer, obviously getting out of program mode, obviously and logically the case, as I've talked about. I think there's a funeral not too far away down that way. That's where I was looking over my shoulder. Getting out of program mode, obviously you need to dominate your camera. But one of the really important things is that when I'm actually out shooting stuff like this that isn't moving, and definitely the dead people ain't moving, landscape and slow-moving nature photography. I'm in aperture priority. I know what sort of depth of field that I want, but I also set this button up here for spot metering. Now, it's kind of clumsy for some people. You'll actually can go up here and obviously set your matrix, center weight, or spot metering, but I actually have this button set for spot metering. So I'll actually spot meter, recompose, lock, spot, lock, recompose, and shoot. I mean, that's what I do primarily. If I do have a lot of really heavy contrast scenery, like if I'm going to shoot this, I mean, you have to know, you're never going to get good at photography until you know what it is you're exposing for. If you got like a 6 or 7 step spread like I've got over here, if I want to capture this gravestone, but I'm going to blow out the highlights on the white limestone headstones back here, you have to be able to foresee that, and you have to be able to almost look into the future. You have to be able to constantly examine a scene and know if your composition has too many stops spread between your shadows and your highlights, what it is you're exposing for. I like to keep things simple, and one of the simplest things, you can obviously drop out of matrix metering and go to spot metering. Now, the first day or so, if you're non-critical shots, you're going to mess up a lot of shots. But what you're going to gain out of that is the ability to decipher what it is you see as so far as the spectrum of your composition and the stop value between your shadows and your highlights. Know what you're exposing for. So now you may not want to go to that sort of extreme, because when I'm just used to doing it for so many years. I'll actually lock my spot meter in. I'll use auto exposure, lock back here, and then I'll shoot. So I'm actually using 3 fingers: spot, lock, and shoot. That's too much for some people. You just want to throw it out of matrix metering into spot metering. That's fine. Just remember, and you can obviously program this for exposure lock too. So you can just drop out of matrix into spot metering. Know what it is you're exposing for. Okay. Your camera, doesn't matter how expensive it is a stupid POS, okay? It's an idiot. It doesn't know a damn thing. Doesn't matter how expensive it is. You have to know what it is that you're metering for, okay? Like examining a scene like this over here, what is it that I'm metering for? You have to constantly be thinking like that. I mean, if you have to go to the preview button to expect and wonder what it is you're actually going to get out of your shot, then you're doing something wrong, okay? You need to be able to anticipate within a stop or two how your picture is going to turn out. Okay? Obviously, this isn't good for action or sports or like doing clubs or events. It has its place, but for shooting stuff like this and countless other things, it helps you to learn photography. You have to be able to see in your mind's eye. You're obviously always thinking about the composition, light manipulation. Of course, there's not really much to manipulate out here, although I have a speed light with me for fill flash. I mean, people think, why would I bring a speed light out to a bright sunny day like this? Well, you do, okay? Like if I want to actually cut some high contrast relief of some of the headstones, you know, I'll actually have my SC29 flash cable, and my speed light, I'll actually have it off camera. And obviously with this Voigtlander 28mm, it's not so easy. I'm actually sitting here manually focusing my pinky finger, and I actually have my speed light off over here. I have to get the correct angle, but I mean, that's just skills and takes time to do that. But the point that I'm getting at is, spend a day or two in some place where it doesn't matter, where you screw up 50% of your shots. Okay, you want to train yourself to become a better photographer. You think you need to take all these BS classes on becoming a better photographer? You don't. Are they helpful? Yeah, sometimes. They're a big waste of money, however. If you want to really help yourself a lot, you know, obviously, you know, you need to get out of program mode, okay? Your camera's dominating you. You're just, it's like you're cranking the lever on the slot machine, and you're guessing and praying on what's going to come out. You need to be able to see and know what is going to be saved on your SD card or your compact flash card. And one of the ways is obviously get out of program mode. But the real way, and by real I mean the far better way, the more helpful, the expedient way, like I said, when I'm shooting 70% of my shots, you know, I don't know what sort of shooter you are. You might be an action shooter. You got to shoot in autofocus, and you have to shoot in program mode. Cars are coming around the track. Okay, that's what sort of shooter you are. But for most people that are out shooting stuff like this, you know, the dead critters aren't moving. I'm shooting headstones and spider webs and all sorts of stuff. Throw it in the spot meter, okay, and know what it is you're exposing for. Okay. Now I'm used to a slightly more complicated way, as I've told you. I'll actually program this button for spot metering. I'll do exposure lock back here, and then I'll shoot. So spot, lock, and fire. That's too much for you, more than likely. I mean, you don't want to sit here with 3 fingers. You know, I've got my middle finger on spot meter, thumb on exposure lock, and then take the shot. And all the time be thinking about light composition and how to compose and whatnot. No, I didn't see anything out of the corner of my eye. It was just a squirrel. You think I see dead people? Yeah, they're everywhere. There's lots of dead people around. Just spend a day or two, spend a week. I mean, really a day is not enough. And who cares if on the first day you ruin 30% of your shots? If you want a really good teacher, okay, throw your camera, program one of your function button right up here for spot meter, or just throw the camera in the spot meter. You got 2 function buttons up here, okay? Program one of them for spot metering. Okay, you can leave it on matrix metering and program, but then program one of these buttons for spot metering. Okay, and then you're gonna have to use your exposure lock button. So you're gonna spot meter for one area. Okay, depending on sort of the composition and the result that you want. Recompose. Okay, and shoot. So you're gonna spot meter, lock that in, recompose, or if you don't want to do that, just throw it into the spot metering. So easy. But you do have 2 function buttons up here, okay, for a reason. You do. They're very helpful. You got your hand there anyway, right? Boom, 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 boom. My pinky finger, I can preview my shots. This middle finger is for spot metering. Then I'll lock in my exposure, recompose, and shoot, because I know what it is I want to shoot for. So just do that. If you want to really help yourself a lot, just start learning how to spot meter, okay? And who cares if you mess up 30% of your shots on the first day or the second day? Do it for a week. No, I haven't seen any ghosts while I'm out here. I've been out here for 6 hours, but catch you later.